everyone, JD here with another Grayman Urban Survival topic online, and today I want to talk to you about some mods that I have done to a Sawyer Mini water filter. You can see I've done quite a bit to it. There were a number of shortcomings that I wanted to address with the original Sawyer Mini water filter system, and I think I've pretty much addressed them all. I really like how this turned out, and this is a pretty complete system now. It's much more compact. It has a lot more options for you. So the first modification I did, as you can see, I wrapped it in 550 cord, but this isn't your standard 550 cord. This is paratinder. You can find this at Walmart. It's basically 550 cord with an extra strand of some really nice tinder in it. It's sort of like a waxed jute. It's like a red color. Chris from Drop Forward Survival, he did a really excellent video on this particular product. I've been using this for like 3 months now, and I've been replacing a lot of my paracord supplies because this stuff is awesome. I don't know how I've gone this long without it. The tinder just takes a spark like crazy. It lights up. It stays lit for a good long while. It's pretty much waterproof, and so just having an extra, ready to go source of tinder out in the wilderness is just an added bonus on top of the paracord itself. And if you notice, it's also a bright orange, so if you drop this near the water or in some bushes or whatever, it'll be a lot easier to find. So that's also an added bonus to wrapping this in paratinder. And the next problem that I addressed was with the stock water filter, there is a cap on the output end. That's the end that goes into your mouth or that you suck on. They have like this little plastic cap on it, this black thing here, but they don't have one on the input side. And with what I did here is I took off that plastic cap and I cut off the little plastic lanyard so it's nice and round, and I used one of these type of bottle caps, and these can be found on this particular size of Smart Water. This is the 700 milliliter size bottle. It's a little smaller than like their largest size, but they come with these really nice flip caps, and the flip cap is actually hollow, and it is the perfect size to fit on your input or your output. And then I just put the little cap here. This way any water that's left inside the Sawyer Mini water filter will not come out due to gravity. And on the input side, that was one of the biggest draws I had with the Sawyer Mini water filter, is that there was nothing there to keep water from coming back out. So for the input side, what I did was I basically cut off a cap from a water bottle, and I used a piece of the water bottle itself from a square water bottle, like one of these or like Fiji water bottles, and I super glued it onto the bottom of the cap, so now no water will come out through the input of your Sawyer Mini water filter. And this also adds a second function. You can see I have some of the rubber tubing that came with the Sawyer Mini water filter. That big plunger that comes with the filter itself, that thing is horrendous. I hated it. I wanted some better system for backwashing my water filter. I mean, that's takes up a lot of real estate. So what I did was I cut off the tip of that, which was really hard to do. Honestly, that is some very thick plastic. And I put it on the inside of this cap. It fits in there without any sort of glue or anything, as you can see. And basically I just punched a hole through the cap so that the nipple was sticking out. Yes, they're called nipples. The nipple was sticking out, put the cap on, or the rubber tubing on there, and then I glued that on just to have it. But now this whole system here acts as a back flush if need be. All you gotta do is take your cap, put it on any sort of bottle that has that same thread pitch. Now I can use this as my plunger or backwash device. And the cool thing about all these different types of bottles, Dasani or Smart Water, Fiji water, I have one here from Propel, they're all the same thread pitch as the Sawyer Mini water filter bag. So if you don't want to have a bottle with you, you can actually just use the water filter bag, squeeze it to back flush all the junk out of the membrane of your Sawyer Mini water filter. And another interesting thing I found was at Home Depot. I think this was like $1.99 or something, but it's a pretty much Sawyer Mini water filter bag. It just has the cap on an angle, and it comes with a carabiner, so you can wrap it up and keep it nice and tight. So that's really cool that Home Depot has something like this. Same exact thread pitch as the Sawyer Mini water filter bag. So, you know, having extra options makes it really nice. I could actually use, if I wanted to, this bag, Sawyer Mini water filter, use this cap to fill up another bag if I needed, if I don't want to carry like a bottle or like a Nalgene with me or whatever. So having something like this, way more options for you than the plunger. Like I said, that's a huge chunk of plastic. I didn't like carrying it at all, and this right here gives me a lot of options to attach it to stuff. And speaking of these particular caps that you can find on the Smart Water 700 milliliter bottles, I actually took a Nalgene bottle, I cut out this middle section and screwed a cap, like one of these, through that hole, and then I epoxied a cap on. So now I can use this as my input or output, and it fits right on my Nalgene bottle. This makes for a lot easier drinking on the go. You just flip that cap, you don't have to unscrew it. Less mess, because if you guys know, if you're walking around and you're trying to drink, that stuff might like roll down your chin or whatever. So this makes it nice and convenient, makes it very easy to attach to the Sawyer Mini water filter. Then you can screw this on with the dirty water or whatever, or you can use the water filter bag. So that makes it really nice. That's one of my mods that I've done as part of this complete system. Not particular for the Sawyer Mini, but for the Nalgene bottle that allows me to use the Sawyer Mini. So that's a really cool addition. And the last thing I did to the Sawyer Mini water filter was I actually bought something called a fluid transfer pump from Harbor Freight. That was for a different project altogether, for a class that I taught. And it had this length of tubing, and I didn't really know what to do with it at the time. But I found out that if you use this black adapter that came with that filter pump and this red one, and you put the hose through it with a little bit of the rubber tubing that comes with the Sawyer Mini water filter, this can now be put onto your input, and you can drop this hose, which is like almost 6 feet long, to a water source that might be very hard to reach, that you can't get to with just putting a water filter. So this gives you a lot of options on accessing water that you can't normally access with just something like this. And that just sits on the side. You saw that I had put the cap like this on the input side, and that holds it in place. And then I just wrapped this little bit of paratinder around it, cinched it up, and now it keeps it all nice and compact. And then we just put on the other lid, like so. Put on that little cap that came with the Sawyer, and that's the complete system. It has a lot of options for accessing water, for starting a fire even, and just for back flushing and keeping it, you know, in tip-top shape. Also, it prevents leaks, which is something that I really found annoying when I had it in my backpack one time, and I guess I was sitting like this and gravity pulled all the water out of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the modifications and upgrades I've done to my Sawyer Mini water filter. Hopefully it inspired you to do something similar to your own filters. It's a great filter off the bat, don't get me wrong, but there are some shortcomings, and hopefully I addressed everything that I could think of, and maybe that you could think of. If you have some idea or upgrade that I could do to mine, or that you have done to yours, please let me know. I would like to see what you have done. And if you like this video, be sure to click like, share, and subscribe. That would really help me out a lot. And if you mod your Sawyer Mini water filter like I did, you will definitely be doing it with gusto.